stay the night before day one of the meeting. Sometimes this isn't an option. If you're traveling, if your meeting is in Maryland and you're traveling from Illinois or California or Canada, obviously you're going to come in the night before because the meeting starts bright and early, usually sometime between 7 and 9 a.m. So you don't want to miss your credits, and B, you don't want to miss the lectures. So yes, for some of you, that's just a no-brainer. You're going to be there for day one. For others, especially if you live in an area where there are a lot of meetings like New York City, or there always seem to be a lot of meetings in the Mid-Atlantic, around the DC area, there are a lot of physicians, or Chicago, you can kind of get away with not making a hotel room reservation. So you don't have to stay every single night, but I really recommend that you do. It just creates a different atmosphere for you. It creates an experience for you where you're going to say, okay, I'm breaking away from my day-to-day to devote myself to continue learning for the next 2.5, 3 days, however long your meeting might be. By putting yourself at the hotel, I just think you're going to get a much greater experience because you've dedicated the time and the energy to going all in on the meeting versus dealing with your day-to-day life at home. Additional benefits of coming in the night before include getting in that registration line early. I have helped with meetings where, as a person behind the desk, I'm having a panic attack because the line is like 8 miles long and I can only print out one badge at a time. It's really, really stressful for all parties. So you don't want to miss that initial lecture. It might be that first lecture might be somebody that you've never seen before, that you were excited to learn about, or somebody that you have seen before and you can't wait to see what else they have to say at this meeting. You don't want to miss that experience. So if you're there the night before, you don't have to worry about registering the first day, and you can just go straight to the lecture hall, begin your meeting. Just kind of simply give yourself a moment to relax and unwind the night before, because it's going to be a lot of information in 3 days. You kind of need to decompress from travel, from seeing patients, from being with your family members, and give yourself the night to just breathe so you can walk into a learning experience fresh and ready to rock and roll. Thing is, it's tricky to get vacation time. If you are running your own practice, you're running your own business, and vacation time's like, what does that even mean? These aren't even English words anymore. Vacation time doesn't exist. So when I travel for meetings, I'm obviously not a physician, I'm not an attendee, but I do travel to a lot of meetings for other reasons, and that's the time where I'm just like, okay, yes, I'm working and I'm learning, but I've got to take advantage of this time so that I feel like I've gotten a little bit of me in there, a little bit of me time in there, whether it's just a good meal or if I'm traveling. I live in the Midwest, so oceans are not a thing for me. If I can make a trip down to the ocean and see a sunset that I wouldn't normally see, that's a big deal for me, because I'm not going to get that opportunity like most people have, paid vacation time. That's just not in the books for me right now. So, and it might not be in the books for you either.
Those are really good points, because the stress of your practice takes a toll on you. And so if the conference starts on a Thursday and you go in Thursday morning, all you're thinking about is your practice. Then if you go back to the office Thursday night after the conference, surely things are going to come up that need your attention, and you're going to get distracted. And some things that you may have picked up and learned that day at the conference, they might just go out the window because the day-to-day stress is getting in the way. When you go to a conference, you should think of it as an immersive experience. I'm here to earn my credits. I'm also here to take something new home with me. And staying the night does help to facilitate that. Also, it gives you a chance to connect after hours with other doctors and attendees that might give you some other insights and be able to answer your questions, and you could socialize.
The other thing that just kind of came to my mind as you were talking, look at the agenda ahead of time. So I went to a meeting recently where it was a learning experience for me. I wasn't there working, I wasn't selling, I was just there to learn. Up until the meeting though, I had no time. I had a general idea of who the speakers were. I didn't know exactly what they were going to be speaking about. I had no time to look at the agenda because I'm busy. I'm busy every single day. So when I got to the conference the night before, I was so happy that we registered early before day one, because I got the full workbook, I got my full agenda, and I was able to look ahead and say, okay, these are the topics that we're going to be talking about tomorrow. What is my goal for tomorrow? Just because I'm listening and I'm not speaking doesn't mean I don't have a goal. So what is my learning goal? What can I expect out of each lecture? And then what am I trying to grasp onto without knowing obviously exactly what they're going to talk about, but what is the goal for myself in terms of learning for each individual lecture and faculty member? You have to go in with a learning goal, otherwise you're kind of just going through the motions. Earning credits is a necessity, 100%, but you might as well make it a necessity that also drives your passion. So if you can figure out what you want your pearls to be, you'll probably end up finding them.